Hello everyone, listen, I want to talk about making positive changes in your life stick. Repetition is what does this. Your beliefs create your actions, meaning you will not change a habit and what you do until you believe it first. Now, what establishes beliefs is repetition and confidence. Yet so often we think that we can listen to one teaching, one training once, and it'll stick, and yet it doesn't. And then I see people all the time. They ask questions. They've been asking the same questions for 3-4 years. Their questions haven't changed because their beliefs haven't changed. Their habits haven't changed. It hasn't stuck yet because they're looking for something else. They're looking for some other reason. So how do you make things stick? How do you make your beliefs stick in your life? Is by repetition, is by being conscious of it, is by taking ownership over your choices. Saying, I choose to go after this thing. I am choosing to change my habit in this area, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. The personal development, the personal growth, the listening to training. Oftentimes, when you listen to a podcast or a teaching or read a good book, you have to read it again and again and again and listen to the same training again and again and again. I've noticed that sometimes people think that if they listen to half of something, they'll get it, or if they listen to it once, they'll get it. What if you brushed your teeth once? Are your teeth forever clean? You have to establish habits. You have to realize that there's people out there, I'm one of them, that have been through stuff, that know what it takes to reach your goals, that know how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And that's why we've distilled our content into podcasts and do training on videos. And so listening maybe to the same ones over and over again, if something really resonated with you, saving it, going back to that same training and listening to it again. Listening to it again and again and again and again until it sticks. Until it gets into your mind and you're like, it starts to shift what you believe from what's not working to a belief that will manifest your goal. Meaning, what you've been doing up to this point is not working. That's clear. Very obvious. Maybe. If you're somebody that is working, I'm not talking to you. But if it's not working, it's clear that it's not. So there's something that has to change. And so you have to do the work, even if it doesn't seem like, oh, what's this going to do? I have books, my friends, that I read 3, 4, 5 times. There's podcast episodes that I've listened to 4, 5, 6 times from people like Ed Milet and Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, and books by, Jocko Willink, and people that I look up to, that I learn from. Chris Valentin, Bill Johnson, Danny Silk, these different authors and teachers that I love. And it's the same message, but I grab onto a different nugget each time that I missed. And I'm like, how did I miss that the first time? So one of the best ways to solidify a habit is to go back to something that resonated with you, that was really powerful. If you found a good teaching, a good author, a good speaker, read through that same thing again years later. Read through that same thing again 3 months later. I'm going back right now and going to listen through a book I just finished last month, the audiobook, again, because there's stuff I know that I missed in that. The way that you shift your beliefs and your habits is you get it inside of you. How do you know that it's not shifted? Well, because what you're getting as the overflow in your life is not reflecting a change in that belief. How do you know that the belief has changed? You're going to get a different result. When your beliefs change, things around you change. And so you have to change your beliefs to get a different result. How do you do that? Repetition. Reading the same things over and over again. Listening to the things over and over again. That's why sometimes I do these videos and I say the same things over and over again. And yet there's still people that they're not getting it, and that's okay. That's totally fine. It's because there's deeper areas in you that we need to deal with, and there's great teachers that have personal development books and spiritual leaders that help deal with issues like pain and trauma and abuse and things like that have wired us and programmed us in a way to not comprehend and understand things, and things don't stick. You're not broken. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're broken. You have to be conscious and take ownership over your choices and do the work that's required to get the change that you say that you want. When you declare something, you have to be ready to walk it out. And to walk it out, that means repetition. That means pressing in day after day after day, taking ownership over your choices, your actions. You can't say, well, I have this goal, and then you're doing the exact opposite of what would produce that goal. If you are doing that, change it. And if you don't know how to change that, figure out how. Take ownership over figuring it out and learning it. The best way to learn, repetition over and over and over again, and go back to things. You know, there's even some people that I do these videos and they still haven't listened to more than 2 episodes of my podcast, and I'm not sure why. There's over 40 episodes in the Grow Your Life podcast, to where I help people go from where they are to where they want to be in their life and their business, getting past fears, growing in confidence, learning to sell, learning to get customers, learning how to create products and content on social media. And sometimes you might have to go back and listen to a podcast or a video that I did before again and again to let it stick and get solidified. Or maybe there's another teacher. Listen, I'm not the only teacher out there. You know that. I tell you about the people that I learn from because I want you to go learn from them as well. I want to be a resource for you to say, hey, listen, this is what worked. Try this. It's going to work for you. And if it doesn't, let's figure out what needs to change. Let's figure out what habits need to change. I believe in you, and I know that it's possible for you to change your habits, to grow in your life, and to reach your goals, because I've done it myself, and I've seen hundreds, thousands of people do it as well. It's not a pipe dream. Listen, there's a lot of charlatans out there, a lot of people that are selling false hope and false dreams that are going to fill you up and puff you up and make you think that you can do things that you really can't do. The only way to do what your goals are is to go to work, do the work, deal with the mental stuff that's in there, change your beliefs, and then manifest your goals by making a plan, sticking to the plan consistently, repeatedly, daily, over time, taking ownership over your choices, and then you will watch things change around you in your life. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk.